And a very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here at Quaker Steak and Lube. Am I, the dear Goon, joining in remotely? How are we doing today, big guy?
I've been better, brother. You know that little ride down here took it out of me. I'm a hurting pup here, so I got my partner doing the show with me today. So
I love it.
we got it.
Always good to have the pooches.
A little bit.
Yes, indeed. Lots to get into today. Obviously a lot of excitement around Penn State football. Nittany Lions will get their season underway here a week from Saturday. We'll have some college football coming up. This Saturday, of course, the high school football season gets underway on Friday night here in Pennsylvania. Did get a chance to go to the Little League World Series yesterday with my kiddo. Took in a couple of the games, and we have some results, and good results at that, from the under-20 World Championships for the Penn State wrestlers, 5 of whom are competing at that event, 4 have competed now, and 1 still to go. We'll get into those results here as well. Talk some Pirates and Phillies, Steelers and Eagles, all as the show unfolds. Penn State has 3 preseason first-team AP All-America selections. Preseason not all that meaningful in the overall scheme of things, but does reaffirm, as if we needed any reaffirmation, that Penn State does have very high expectations. Penn State and Texas, the only 2 teams with 3 first-team All-Americans in the preseason. And, of course, Texas, interestingly enough, is ranked number 1 and Penn State number 2 in the preseason Associated Press rankings.
Who were our 3, Jeffrey?
Nicholas Singleton is first team, and interestingly, Katron Allen is the second team, or is a second team running back. So as we all know, the backfield is very well set here for the Nittany Lions. Vega Ioane is a first team All-American. It's interesting, Goon, because I think Ioane is a terrific lineman. I'm not sure that he is the best lineman on that Penn State front. And I'm really curious to see, as the season unfolds, kind of who all gets recognized on that offensive line, earn Big Ten and or All-America recognition, because I do think that unit as a whole just has a chance to be something very, very special in the upcoming season. And then Zane Durant is the other who is obviously going to be the anchor on that defensive front, with Dennis Sutton outside and Zane inside. At least starter-wise, you feel very good about the defensive line there. I know there's some concerns with the depth there, concerns with depth at linebacker. Those are probably the 2 areas, along with the receiving core that would be at least somewhat question marks heading into the season. Feels like everything else is pretty well set there. Penn State naming its 5 captains over the weekend. And I think at the end of the day, Goon, it's just a team that now you want to see them go out there and let's get this thing going, get through the 3 non-conference games at the start, get to the Oregon game, and kind of see how this thing is actually going to play out now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, in my head, Jeff, I just can't get past, what a difference is preparing for a season that could be 15, 16, 17 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there, but you're talking about Ione playing offensive line, and you got we're thin at D line and linebacker, and I'm just like, wow, one injury is it's gonna really hurt those guys a little bit at those positions. And, it makes me think, I wonder if, like, do you know how the mindset has changed from when I played and when you remember growing up with you lose 1 or 2 games, you're out, you're not going to win a title game, all that stuff. That's out the window now. But also, so is, that those first 3 games, I mean, you want to leave a statement. No, you don't. You want to get out of that game healthy. I mean, I don't think that we're going to see the starters as much as we would used to, that you and I growing up and until the last few years would be used to in a 12-game schedule, where they really have to plan for the 16 or 17 game schedule. So, that just flashed in my head when we were talking about the depth of offense or the defensive line and our linebackers, and I was like, yeah, man, get Zane in there and get him the hell out of there. So, we're missing the Ironhead again. It's just Goon and Poppy hanging out here doing the show here today. Then, so yes, but let me just talk about the offensive line, straighten up how good those guys are. I mean, they're 7-8 deep on the offensive line right now. I don't think we haven't had that. I mean, I don't know if we even had that when I was playing. We had some good guys behind us, but I mean, we're going to have a good rotation of 6, 7, 8 guys out there who actually have starting experience. Donka and Rucci playing right tackle, Cousins and Donka playing right guard, Dawkins and Cousins playing center, Ione playing a left guard, and then Shelton playing left tackle. I mean, we're talking about depth and stuff like that. That's some significant depth right there on the offensive line. But other places, it's scary. So Jeff, like, going back, I mean, yeah, I would be surprised if we see these guys in these first 3 games as long as we used to. You know what I mean? Back in the day with the worry, because I remember talking to Nick Dawkins after the season last year, and he was like, Goon, I am tired, And I was thinking about it. I mean, going from that 12 game grind into the month off for a bowl game into what they had to do last year, that was a hell of a thing, man. Those guys had to ball out a lot. They didn't get much rest in between those games either. Huge difference.
That is for sure. Yeah, it is. It's a different, I mean, in a bunch of different ways, it's a different world, but with the playoffs, and listen, when you're not taking anything for granted, but I do think, right, part of the process here in terms of how you're planning out the season as a coaching staff is, you're figuring at schools like Penn State or Ohio State, hey, we got to kind of make our plans here with an eye toward going through that 15, 16, 17 game schedule. And so, I do think there's some different things that they do compared to if you felt confident you were only going to have only a 13 game schedule. It's just a different animal in terms of I think making sure you're keeping the legs under your guys. And it is a tricky, I think it has to be a tricky situation in terms of trying to keep your guys sharp, keep your guys ready, and make sure that you're not overworking them and getting them fatigued to where either injuries can occur or to where, that 15th, 16th game of the season, you're kind of feeling the wear and tear of that long year.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine having to try and prepare for that. I mean, geez. You've heard me talk enough in the past about how I don't know how he did it, but I guess it was a longevity thing. But the old man was an absolute master of seeing how our legs were and getting us ready to peak out on Saturday. Not putting us in a position where our legs we go into the game heavy-legged and tired, and because you've seen teams do that. That's definitely happened in the past, but the old man was very good about that. I mean, as the season wore on, you would get less and less equipment days. You'd have full pads on Tuesday and Wednesday every week. But then as the season wore on, Wednesdays turned into a half pad practice because it was like, you don't know what you're doing by the 8th game of the year. We're in trouble. So, but James has got to get a read for these guys on their legs throughout camp and stuff like that. But again, he has to worry about the added new feature of of it possibly being a full straight 4 months of football. And that's a different thing. That's a different animal. You can play momentum so long, but you want to be as fresh as you possibly can to put yourself in a position to win a national title.
Yeah, and I think that this is another part of the equation, and I mean we've talked a good bit about it, but I do think that does factor in here when teams are moving forward, considering that non-conference schedule. And again, it's part of why I'd like to see a more centralized organization kind of take that over, so that you're not needing to have the schools necessarily worry about it, or get the criticisms again, justified or unjustified, where it's just, all right, this is going to be kind of the more balanced way we look at it, and everybody's facing something similar. But if you're Penn State right now, you're looking at it, how much do you really want to get a big physical test in that non-conference schedule when you have an experienced team like this one coming back? And again, Penn State is not taking anything for granted, but they're planning to be in this thing for the long haul. And so I think, and part of when they're looking at this overall picture is, all right, let's see if we can get those starters out of there by halftime of these first 3 games, so that we can get some of these younger guys a look, get them ready, because chances are at some point we're going to need a good number of them anyway to be part of the equation here for this team to be able to move forward effectively.
And then we have 105 guys back on scholarship. Geez, back. We're losing the Ironhead again. So we do have 105 guys on scholarship again. That's up 20 scholarships from before. We were at 85 last year with a bunch of different walk-ons. So the roster's only 105 people strong. But the other thing that I want to bring up is redshirting. What has changed in that era from when I was playing, even up until 10 years ago. So you figured 10 years ago and all the way before, it used to be, we were told when we were, if you got hurt within the first 4 games of the season, you could apply for a medical red shirt later in the year, which is a big thing. But after the season, you have a 5th or 6th year granted to you for a medical condition. So with the football team, the red shirt, when I was at Penn State, the red shirting was if you played a game during the season and you weren't medically cleared at the end of it, you were done. You lost a year of eligibility. So that comes into play right now, because you are allowed to play up to 4 regular season games, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. You could play as a true freshman and still retain your eligibility for your freshman or for that year. So what I'm trying to think now is, like, how many true freshmen are going to play these first couple of games, just to try and keep these guys a little fresh throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah,
these guys play the first 3 games of the year. They get they can still play another game within the next year, within that season, and still retain their eligibility. So that comes into play too. I mean, it's another thing that Franklin's got to juggle around. I mean, there's not enough on his plate right now. He's going to juggle, the difference in 85 and 105 and the red shirt versus non-red shirt. It's 12 game schedule, a playoff game, or not playoff game, but a title game, playoff games after that. I mean, you got to worry about a lot of stuff right now. So, just put it on a list for James to just add it to his list. He's got to worry about.
And it just shows kind of the ridiculousness of the age we live in, and maybe it's been like this longer than that. But did you see the social media post with Franklin getting thrown in the pool, and then I mean, it's just a fun moment. Team's having fun, Franklin's having fun, whatever, and and you knew it was coming, and it's why I try to avoid looking at the comments. But I ended up just scrolling down, and sure enough, there's have your fun now, because the big games are coming, and you won't be able to handle that, and just on and on. And it's like, really, you can't just take a moment and just, hey, that's cool. That's a neat team building situation, and it's cool to see everybody having fun. Man, sometimes, Goon, and listen, I'm a
It
sports
gets old.
fanatic as well. Yeah, a little perspective. Like at the end of the day, yes, we care passionately about it. We're into it. It frustrates me that my Pirates aren't in it to win it and all of that. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a bunch of people playing games, and it ought to be fun. And yeah, if you lose, it ought to be disappointing, and then you ought to be able to move on. And if you win, it ought to be thrilling, and then you ought to be able to move on. It shouldn't be kind of life-defining stuff. And yet, boy, to a large degree, we sure try as a sports society anyway to make it that. Real quick, if you did miss it, I doubt very many people in our audience did, the captains again for the upcoming season. Dom DeLuca becomes a 3-time captain for the Nittany Lions. Both Drew Aller and Nick Dawkins become 2-time captains for Penn State. And then Zane Durant is 4th captain, and Tyler Duzansky, who, if you don't know about Tyler, we had a chance to interview him. Jim Galati and I interviewed him at an NIL event a couple of years ago. And man, he is just such a likable kid. and obviously a really good long snapper. I think he's going to be able to carve out a very nice little career and living for himself at the next level. But I think he is a guy that earned that captainship, and I think probably somebody that a lot of fans don't know a whole lot about. He is really just an interesting guy. Loves sports, of course, loves football, but I think has just been able to kind of carve out a very special niche and is very good at his specialized skill and has spent an awful lot of time trying to perfect it. And I think it's neat to see a guy like that get recognized with that type of an honor. So those are your 5 captains anyway for Penn State.
The good news about the snapper is you never hear his name during a game.
That is
pretty good. When you're a snapper and an offensive lineman, you don't hear their names. Yeah. That's a good thing. So I don't know, Jeff. I mean, he's escaping me right now. What's his size? I'm talking about. I want to relate him to the NFL and see what you know.
Yeah, he's not gigantic. I'll get it here.
But he has some size though. He's 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be able to.
Yeah, he's not 200 pounds though, right? He got a little weight in his booty. Yeah, I mean he'll be all right.
No, he's tall. He's not. I'm just trying to think, or think. I'm trying to think too. I'm trying to do about 3 different things here.
Is he you, me, or Booch?
5. I'd say, but he's really none of us. He's not. Let's see. They listed 6'4", 222 is what he's listed at.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's probably got long arms because I did the snapping when I was here. I was one of the snappers. I don't know. I had one of those weird abilities. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. Me and my little brother were really good at it, and some people, it's really. Have you ever tried to do it, Jeff? Oh no, the head is out again. Jeez, the hat trick here, 3.5 hours. So yeah, the difference in the short snapping and the long snapping and all that, because I had done it when I was in college. My senior year, I was the short snapper, and then Brad Pantal was the long snapper. But you know, you want a longer, thicker guy on the short snaps, what I call them, for field goal and extra points, because it does widen out the line of scrimmage. You know, so you have my legs there at 6'7", and then you have the guards on there. But if you're a guy who's 5'7", you're going to lose a whole foot of time. So you're going to lose 6 inches on the side. So that's 6 inches closer for the wide guys to get in, and that it literally does come into play. Jeff, I'm talking about how a taller guy is very, very good for snapping, because the way he spreads his legs, that the guards and the tackles and the tight ends get it widens the line of scrimmage that much wider, because those guys who were running the 4-1-40s who are coming off the corners, if they have another foot to work in a little bit, that's a big difference, and they can cut that angle down pretty good. Whereas the longer the snapper, the longer the legs are, the wider he can be, he can spread them out. So they have to come a whole another 12 inches to block that kick. And it makes the difference like you would not believe. Short snapping specifically, but in punts very much so. And he seems to be long enough that he can run down there at 225. He can make some tackles out there. So you figure the ideal long snapper in the NFL, like when I was playing, there was a guy named Dale Hellstrom who played for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm telling you, I think he played there for 20 years. He was like 6'5", 300 pounds, could not run, could not jump, but he would snap the ball perfectly into the punter's hands. He'd punt, they'd down the ball, there'd be 9 guys running around there, and then he'd show up. That's how he was. He was a little slower than the most, but he was a big boy. Whereas nowadays, I look at the Eagles guys and the Steelers guys, they are taller, athletic guys because those guys snap and they can release if they don't have anybody in the block. So they can go down there and make a play. But you also want somebody who has some kind of athleticism who can defend himself too, because they could put a guy over top of you, Vince Wilfork, that type of guy in the NFL, and just go plowing right through you. So it's good to see that he has that kind of size. And you are right. With that kind of height and that kind of length, he really could play a long time in the NFL. And by the way, the minimum salary for an NFL veteran is about $800,000. So he's just got to get through that rookie contract. And when he's a vet, he can make $800,000 a year. That's pretty damn good money.
Yeah, can carve out a nice little living for yourself. No doubt about that. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I think maybe we'll go to the Little League World Series next, and then we'll
got to hear it, Ironhead.
State Wrestling. But
they have no more cutouts, man. I got to hear the story.
Yeah, hopefully, we're some point we got to get these technical issues straightened out. I apologize for that, but we will continue with our Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7, the Fox. And again, we will be right back.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Your first half champion State College Spikes host the 2025 MLB Draft League Championship game at Medler Field at Lebrano Park, Thursday, September 4th. Get your tickets now for just $10 a piece. Enjoy Dollar Dog Night with $1 hot dogs and Thirsty Thursday with $2 12-ounce drafts while supplies last. And the Spikes offer free admission to all students in partnership with Penn State Spa, the Student Programming Association. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
The Fox,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America. 98.7, The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
A Tuesday afternoon, coming off a busy little weekend, and we did it was kind of our adventure weekend. Goon as a family, we went to do some whitewater rafting in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania on Saturday. Worked our way over to Hershey Park, where the Mad Turtle did and we did with him, but we did 6 different
We're talking roller coasters at Hershey Park right now, obviously. Man, these technical difficulties are driving me nuts here, boys and girls. Yeah. So let me think now. Hershey Park, the roller coasters weren't exactly for the Goon back in the day. No way. It was not my thing. Never really was. I mean, we did go to all those different bowl games as I got older. You know, as a football player, I always talk about this. So figure I went down to the Citrus Bowl. So we had it all over Disneyland, Disney World. Then we went to the Rose Bowl, did Disney, Universal, whatever the heck that is out there. So we have I didn't have any of those amusement parks when I was a kid, but as I got older, we were great going to and from those bowl games. And I didn't take advantage of them. We didn't appreciate them and stuff like that. But
yeah.
The Turtle liked his roller coasters.
He did. He was game for all of them, and I think if the weather had cooperated, it got rainy right at the end of the day around 6, and so we did not get to do the last 2 that we were hoping to do. The Mad Turtle desperately wants to buy the T-shirt that says I've been on all of the roller coasters at Hershey Park. And we told him he can't do it until he actually achieves it. And
ain't no stolen valor in the Byers home, baby.
That is exactly right. So we're going to get back probably in April. Outside chance we'll try to sneak down in October, although I'm not sure if the roller coasters he needs to get on will be open in October. So we may have to wait until next April to complete the task at hand. But anyways, the Mad Turtle and I then made our way to South Williamsport yesterday for the Little League World Series. I had never been. It is interesting. There's a bunch of parking lots up and around the museum that you cannot access. They don't do a great job, or maybe I was just oblivious to it. I don't think they do a great job. There's a bunch of signs saying you have to go to the main gate for parking for the general public, but there's no signs telling you where the main gate is. And I'm like, well, that's helpful to know we need to go to the main gate. Now, the next useful piece of information would be, where is the main gate? There's nothing indicating that. So anyways, we found a parking spot, and it worked out just fine. Worked our way down to the main gate, worked our way into the stadium. I didn't realize, for some reason in my mind, the stadiums, I mean, they are side by side, but when you enter the lower gate, there's one stadium and then the other one's up above it. So they're next to each other, but it's more one's on top of the other. I don't know why in my mind I had them just kind of next to each other, separated by something. So we get there. The first game is the international game between Venezuela and Japan. And we both think Venezuela is the underdog, and so we are rooting for Venezuela. Figure Japan has enough world championships under its belt. So we're kind of rooting for Venezuela. We get there kind of right as the game's starting. So we are in the outfield looking in, and we stood there because there weren't seats available in the stands at that point. And so we watched the first 2.5 innings. Venezuela jumps out to the 2-0 lead. And Matt Turtle says, I'm a little hungry. Can we go grab something to eat? And I said, absolutely. I'm hungry as well. Let's go do that. So on our way up to grab food, they have the store is right next to the lower field. And so, I said, we can either go eat and then come back to the store, or go to the store and then go up and grab something to eat. So we go to the store. Matt Turtle gets a very nice hat. I get a T-shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm wearing it here. So I grab the T-shirt. He grabs the hat. We go up, get the kiddo gets the chicken nuggets and fries. I got an Italian sausage sandwich. Had a great time. And then we had a decision to make, because there's still a couple of innings left. Venezuela at that point now is that we're kind of keeping track of it. They're up 4-0, which ends up being the final. And so I told Reg, I'm like, hey, do you want to, we can go back down and watch the rest of that game. Probably you'll have to just stand somewhere and watch it, or you can kind of sit in the outfield. Or I said we can go and see if we can get a seat in the stands and sit for the first American game. So he said, yeah, let's just go up. It seems like Venezuela has that one in hand. And I said, okay, I'm good with that. So I said, not guarantee, but I think, we're probably about 40 minutes away from the American game starting with Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, taking on South Carolina. So we go down the right field line and get a seat, a couple of seats, and hang out. We're talking about the roller coasters from the day before, talking about Venezuela, talking about this game. One of the cool things, so that we're watching the kids slide down on the hill on the cardboard. I'm like, if you want to go up, I'm happy to go with you if you want to do that. He said, no, I think I'd rather just watch the game. It does look kind of neat, but I'd rather just hang down here. I said, that's perfectly fine, whatever you want to do. So we watched, and there were some kids doing the the surfing as they're coming down the hill, which is pretty fun. We're just sliding down on the cardboard, but it was fun. It was a neat scene. A lot of the Vegas fans were around our section, but we kind of decided we were going to root for South Carolina just because we go to North Carolina and we go right near the South Carolina border. No real reason other than that. but we're like, we got to take up a rooting interest. So we both kind of sided with South Carolina. And the game itself was terrific. My favorite part, truthfully, of the entire day was before the game. I think he does this with all of the teams before all of the games. But the mascot there, and I don't even know what the mascot is, but he's terrific. The great crowd interaction. But he gets together with each team, and they do dances, and it's different dances. But they do these. The mascot kind of leads the dance, and the kids are all like, I think it gets everybody kind of loose and kind of reminds you, oh yeah, this is Little League baseball. It is. Yes, and they should be out there having fun, and they are.
And there goes the Ironhead yet again here, boys and girls. So we are talking Little League World Series. Ironhead and the Mad Turtle were down there, and I have never gone. I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to leave a comment on there if you guys have ever gone to it. Was been one of my I've wanted to do it my whole life, but we were up here. I was telling you guys last week. So for for all the time I was at Penn State playing football was during football camp, so we could ever go. So the Ironhead's back, so he can finish up now.
Sorry, this is going to be obviously a continuous thing again throughout today. Hopefully, we'll get this resolved before Thursday. This is my fault. I dropped the ball and not following up with the dear Booch, who we rely on. So my fault that we are still having these issues, but I have no doubt they're going to persist throughout the program. And I'm trying to just relax, understand that's the situation, Ironhead. Nothing you can do about it. Just keep calm, and we'll get through it. Anyways, the warm-ups were kind of neat to watch and see kind of the coach-kid interaction. And the fans, it is fun seeing the fans, and everybody seems to get it. At least all the people we saw in both of the games. We just stayed for the first two. But all of the fans were very supportive of their team. But every now you would get the type thing when there was a close ball strike call and it went one way or the other. But I really did not hear or see anything that was like going after the other team. And I did notice even both pitchers yesterday, the starting pitchers were phenomenal. Joe, I think it's Gigliotti for South Carolina, threw a no-hitter through 6 innings, and South Carolina ends up losing the game on the walk-off single in I think it was the 8th inning that they got to. Maybe it was the 7th. Anyways, they were in extra innings. It was the 7th because South Carolina left a guy at third. They actually got the lead. They start with the runner on second. They got they had 2 outs and a runner at first, and then ended up losing the game. They got a second runner over or second runner on, and then a hit to right field, and the right fielder felt badly. I'm not 100% sure he would have been able to make the play at the plate, but he kind of kicked the ball just a little bit away from him and was never able to get it home in time. Once he did that, it gave a valiant effort, but it was a great game. And but the South Carolina fans gave a standing ovation to the pitcher who had 12 strikeouts that started the game for Las Vegas when he had to come out, and then the entire stadium stood up. The pitch count was met in that 6th inning. He got through the inning, so he again a complete game, no hitter, and his team still loses in the next inning. But the entire stadium stood up and rightfully applauded the no-hit effort. So it was a cool scene. That again, the mascot dancing with both teams before the game was just really cool stuff. A lot of fun. It was interesting that the crowd too, because there's a lot of what I'll call the old timers, men in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and talking with a couple of them that's like, yep, we come here every year, and this is just part of just big time baseball fans, and from different, a lot from the Williamsport area or within an hour or so. Couple, one guy we talked to comes in from New Jersey each year just because he likes watching it. And so it was fun. I told the Mad Turtle we could stay we had to stay for the first two games. I'm like, I don't want to come down and not see at least a game from both the international and the American divisions. But I said, after that, if you want to go, we can. And he was again, we had a big weekend, so he's like, yeah, I think let's get home and see if we can watch the 7:00 game on TV at home, which Connecticut, man, just hammered. What was it, Washington, I think, in that one. It just very impressive performance by Connecticut. So it was a very good time. Kind of what I had envisioned in my mind. There were some things logistically I think they could do to make it a little easier for first timers. Now that we've been there, again, if you've been there even just once, I think you have a pretty good handle. I had a couple people say, just find one of the yards to park in. They'll let you in. Well, I didn't know where the yards were. Again, we're coming in on the main highway, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm like, I have no idea where we're supposed to turn down at. So we ended up parking there's a Days Inn right at the top of the hill, almost catty corner from the Little League Museum, and they had parking for $10, which I guess was the standard rate. So that's anyways where we ended up parking, and worked out just fine. So it was a cool experience watching. Japan's bouncing back. It's all elimination games today. Japan is up 6-0 now over Mexico here in this first game. Kind of rooting for South Carolina. Just felt like they, nothing against either team, obviously. I felt like they played a little better game overall in that game yesterday, but just didn't get the win. Although I did watch that Hawaii game the other night, and I was very impressed with that Hawaii team too. So anyways, they play actually, I think that'll be the afternoon game, if I'm not mistaken, here at 3 this afternoon. And so we'll be checking that out and just kind of pulling for South Carolina in that one, although we have a fondness for Hawaii also. Won't be unhappy for whichever team wins. We'll be disappointed for whichever team loses. But again, the kids and the families do seem to have and the coaches, for that matter, seem to have the right perspective. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to win thing and get the added bonus that comes with that. But everyone we talk to, it's like,
there we are with the Goon yet again, straight up. The Ironhead talking about the down in Williamsport, South Williamsport for the Little League World Series. I've never gone. It's been one of my bucket list things forever, like we talked about forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah, I never got there. Obviously, I was talking before. Football season comes around, we watch it on television, but we never actually went. So here in Ironhead's first head account of the whole situation. Sounds like a fun time. I got to do it. I just couldn't do it this year.
Yeah,
I'd have jumped in with the Ironhead, but I would have loved to have gone. But a lot of walking. That probably would not have been a good thing for me this week.
Yeah, we did not a ton of walking. We did more than we probably needed to. Although at the end we were able to go out the upper entrance, and so it actually, I think, saved us time at the end. It was a very quick exit and then onto the highway, and we were right there. So that part worked out very, very well from our perspective. And but it was neat. And the neighborhood next to the ballpark, which I guess, I mean, you would have to embrace it. Like, otherwise you're going to make yourself miserable for a couple of weeks. But it was cool. They had, several of the homes had welcome to everybody coming in for Little League.
Oh, yeah.
The one house actually had free. They had a cooler out in front that had water, and it's like, hey, anybody that wants a water, go ahead and help yourself, which the Mad Turtle did. He's like, I'm thirsty. I'm like, yeah, it's there to grab it. So, yeah, it was cool. It was a fun experience. And, we're going to do it again next year. We're going to try to get a couple of his buddies to go with us next year. This year, I wasn't exactly sure when we were going to be. I knew we were going to make it happen, but wasn't entirely sure until probably Friday, or I guess Thursday. We kind of finalized, we'll go on Monday, because we were kicking around a few different days to try to do it. So, I think we'll go back and probably try to spend the entire day, try to take in 4 games next year and break it up a little bit.
The Turtle texted me earlier and he said, hell no, I ain't going next year. I'm playing. We're playing next year.
I told him in a couple of years, he's like, Dad, look at these guys. And I will say, some of the kids are just, now some of them aren't all that big, but some of them are, for 12 years old, dude, they are not only like tall and big, but I mean, they're put together well. I'm like, geez,
you're preaching to the choir here, buddy.
Yeah, some of these kids look like, are you sure? I mean, the pitcher for Las Vegas yesterday was just a big kid, and obviously threw the ball very, very effectively. Trying to remember, I think it was 5 hits that he gave up, but again, 12 strikeouts, and just every time he needed it, it seemed like he just reared back and got it. It was a fun game to watch. I thought both teams just played really well, and it was just again a tough ending for South Carolina, but it was going to be a tough ending for one of those teams because they both just played terrific. But we're kind of hooked now and following the Little League World Series here and trying to make our predictions as to who's going to win it. I will say Las Vegas has a very, very good team for sure as well. I still think if South Carolina can stay in this thing, I still wouldn't bet against South Carolina winning the whole thing either, although again they could go out as early as this afternoon here as well. But definitely worth the trip. A lot of fun. And then, to boot, Goon, we got to come home and watch the Pirates beat the Blue Jays, hand the best team in the American League a loss. So good day of baseball.
Did Skeens get the win?
Skeens did get the win.
Ooh, I saw it was 2-2 in the 6th, so he must have blown it open from there.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Sorry, I don't know if he did get the win because they didn't score. No, I don't think he did get the win. I think it was another no decision because they didn't get the runs until the 7th, and Toronto kind of handed it. It was, and again, 162 games. I get it. You're going to have even the best teams are going to have off days, and the worst teams. I mean, the Rockies, for crying out loud. Yesterday beat the Dodgers, which you explained that one to me. But again, on any given day, as they say in baseball, especially, anything can happen. But man, the Blue Jays just did not look like a team that should be the best in the American League with the way they played those final 3 innings, or at least the 7th and 8th yesterday. But
it's a very National League heavy MLB this year.
Well, I will say I'm really curious to see what happens here when the playoffs roll around. And obviously a lot of concern in Philly right now. Good win yesterday, and Suarez, very good outing, and Bryce Harper had a couple of bombs and a good win for the Phillies over the Mariners. But Goon, I read a couple of stories on. I know the procedure went well for Zach Wheeler, but now they're saying the Phillies don't know when or if he will return this season. That's obviously going to be a big story here over the next several weeks. For the Phillies.
He announced a couple weeks ago that he was going to retire in 27, so he is not in for the long haul. I think he is a family guy, and he's all about his future health. So you're going to pull a blood clot out of your arm from pitching. It scares me to the point where we may see this might be the end of Zach Wheeler. I mean, as scary as that sounds, that's a real possibility with the guy that I see on the news talking about how he, his health and his long-term health for his family and his family, the most important thing in his life, that he doesn't need to play baseball and that he was only going to pitch for another year and a half anyway. So if this speeds it up that he retires now, I would not be surprised if that happens. Now, it would be absolutely suck for the Phillies, no doubt about that. But, it is what it is, and it's the man's decision, it's the man's livelihood and the man's life. So, I mean, you start getting those blood clots and stuff like that. But I guess what's weird to me, Jeff, is like it's not an uncommon thing for pitchers. And that's scary to think about. I mean, you and I talked about in the past, like baseball is not the shoulder is not supposed to throw like that. The human shoulder is not supposed to throw the ball at 101 miles an hour. It's not the throwing motion is not healthy for a human being. That's why if you watch softball, those pitchers can pitch every day, every inning at 100 miles an hour because it is a natural throwing motion.
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, you're overhand, you're already putting all this pressure on your arm, your elbow, your shoulder, everything. So, very, very scary at this point. And then, the reliever that they just got from Minnesota, he took that ball off of his ankle. They had to cart him off. I mean, and people were complaining it was a non-save situation. What the hell is he doing in the game? Well, they had 1 in 4 days, so he had to get out there and get some work. So, I mean, I'm not upset about him being out there, but that's a scary one too. So, I mean, it was about a 4-day window where it went from really good to really bad, but then 21 hits last night. 21 hits is what the Phillies had against the Mariners last night. That is a lot of hits, man. 21 is an amazing. Oh, there we go. Yet again, just a goon on a goon in the goon highway. Yes, sir. So, the Phillies played the Mariners last night. Took it to them pretty good. Harper was nuts, went nuts a yard big time down the center field. But 21 hits and I guess they only batted 8 times. So they averaged 2+ hits an inning. If you really put it down, they only batted 8 times and they had 21 hits. That's almost 3 hits an inning on average. Yeah. That's a hell of a night in a Major League Baseball.
It was not a bad offensive outing for the
holy crap, man.
That is for sure. Speaking of not bad, we'll check in with Penn State Wrestling and the performance at the 20 Under World Freestyle Wrestling Championships, which are continuing. We'll get you caught up on what's happened there as we resume after this timeout with the Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kia Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia. 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Your first half champion State College Spikes host the 2025 MLB Draft League Championship game at Medler Field at Lebrano Park Thursday, September 4th. Get your tickets now for just $10 a piece. Enjoy Dollar Dog Night with $1 hot dogs and Thirsty Thursday with $2 12-ounce drafts while supplies last. And the Spikes offer free admission to all students in partnership with Penn State Spa, the Student Programming Association. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
The Fox,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on a Tuesday, again, very good showing for the United States as a whole, but for the Penn State contingent over in Bulgaria as the under 20 World Freestyle Wrestling Championships continue. PJ Duke, and it was kind of fun to listen to him in the post-championship interview, and he did win gold at 70 kilos, and will try to win senior gold later this year. But we've talked about just how incredible of an accomplishment it is to make the senior world team when you're not even in college yet. And he did talk a little bit more than I've heard him talk, and he may have talked more in other interviews. I just have not heard him talk about how like surreal it feels to him that he's on the senior team, and he's like, but the thing I really liked about what he said is he's like, I feel like I have a responsibility now. I owe it to these guys. I'm on the senior team. Like, I can't be, oh, this is cool. That was my objective, was to be on the team. He's like, the team is trying to accomplish something here. And I feel like I have to hold up my end of the bargain. And so, regardless of how old I am, like I need to go out and perform for these guys to represent the United States. And he did say the one thing he really was not maybe expecting was the emotions he felt hearing the national anthem when he won gold at the U20, and just kind of the impact that had in the moment on him. Not that he didn't realize that, hey, I'm competing for my country here, but he said it kind of just hit home on how special this is to be able to represent your country and to go out and represent it by winning gold. So, and he just, everything he says just right in line with the things we've heard over the years from the David Taylors and the Jason Nolfs and the Zane Rutherfords, and right on down the line. So, just a very, very impressive young man. Again, he wins gold. William Henkel takes silver, but rallied today, was down, I think it was 8-2, and pulled within 8-6, ended up losing by a couple of points. But kind of same, Henkel just has the attitude and I guess the fight. And I saw Flow Wrestling did a thing where they kind of were breaking down, or actually, I think it was, anyways, somebody was breaking down the World Championships and talked about the fight of and I think it was actually Willie Saylor. I saw, the more I'm thinking that through, but Willie was saying, when Henkel lost to Zack Ryder, like sometimes you can see, even in a loss with a guy that, oh man, this dude is going to be next level. Like, see this thing coming together. And he thought, just with the way Henkel battled against Zack Ryder a couple of years ago, that, man, look out. And even in this loss, again, silver medalist at the World Championships. And again, it's the, I think Henkel is 17, 18. I think he's 17. But anyway, so, obviously nothing to be ashamed of. But, man, I just, you can see it's coming where he's going to be next level great. He's very, very good, very, very talented right now. But I think eventually he's just going to get to where he is really going to be.
Jeff, you don't mind me asking, what is international competition? What is the first age? Is there something lower than the under 20?
Oh, that is.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's under 17. Under 17 is aware of.
You said under 17. There is one. I know there's internationally. I don't know if that's that or not, but yeah. I got to go with him when he. Anytime an American. You back? Oh, well, anytime an American hears the national anthem, I'm sorry, man. It just hits me in the heart every time I see it, and I can't imagine being an athlete. Working your whole life as an athlete, win the Olympics. Obviously, this wasn't the Olympics, but it was his first competition internationally. So, for him to sit there and say how engulfed he was in pride and this and that with the national anthem playing, that's pretty damn cool. And he's like Jeff just said, he wasn't wrestling for the United States. He was wrestling in the as a representative of the United States. All this and all that, they weren't competing, but in the Olympics and even in these competitions, I can't imagine how awesome and how breathtaking it must take the breath away, and everything you have in your system for everything you did, you worked for your whole life. It's starting to come to fruition. Winning the Olympic gold, and especially with these wrestlers. I know that I mean, I guess I can speak outside of school here with Jeff not on here right now, but, like 20 years ago, these guys, there was nothing for these guys to do when they were wrestling in the Olympics, and then it was done. They would just move on, and it was like, okay, I'm either going to, if I'm going to stay in wrestling, it's going to be in a coaching thing, or a senior circuit. But there wasn't any kind of like MMA or other kind of wrestling stuff that they have now for guys that are older, wrestling tournaments and stuff that, you can make some money at. You can actually do it professionally. So 20 years ago, watching these wrestlers, watching the Olympic, the medals go, you got the medal on in the Olympics and they're playing your national anthem and they're raising your flag. I mean, that is a lifelong goal. You have to sit there and say that these guys have accomplished. They had worked their whole lives every day. I mean, wrestling is easily the most dedicated sport. You must be the most dedicated to sport to wrestle, in my opinion. You look at wrestling versus football, basketball, baseball. You have a lot of guys who can do a lot of stuff outside of that. And the wrestlers, if you're not a dedicated person, Jeff, I'm just talking about how dedicated the sport of wrestling is compared to like football, basketball, baseball. Yes, you do a lot of stuff. You must be dedicated to it. But wrestling is a 24/7, 365 attitude. I mean, you got to sit there and worry about your weight. You go on vacation and you got to worry about what you're eating. I mean, think about that. I mean, I'm going on vacation next week. The only thing I'm worried about eating is how much I'm going to eat and what I'm going to eat. So, but Jeff, I was talking about the national anthem for the wrestlers. Like 20 years ago, when there was really no professional outside of when you got done in the Olympics, when you were 20-some, 23 years old, that was it. You moved on with your life. If you want to stay in wrestling, you got into coaching.
Yeah.
When you were wrestling and you won that gold in the Olympics 20 years ago, and you saw those guys just losing it. I mean, you can't imagine the dedication that those guys had to go through to get where they were at, and where they were and what they had accomplished. And, even in the defeat, you got a guy coming in losing, getting a silver medal, and it's just like he was so close, and it's got to be heart-wrenching for these guys at those sports. But nowadays, you have wrestling outside of college wrestling now a little bit. So, but hearing him talking about how it was the first time really he had heard the national anthem with the flag being lower, the gold medal around his neck, how much it meant to him to be an American. That's a pretty cool thing, and that's got to be a pretty damn good feeling up there.
Yeah, no, it was gratifying to hear him talk about the kind of the moment that he's in and what is important to him. And, instead of, I think he is enjoying and is appreciative of, hey, man, this is cool. Like I'm a world champion for my age group. I have a chance to be a world champion, period. And, this is just a cool opportunity, but also with that, while trying to take that all in and enjoy all of it, understand kind of the responsibility end of it. And, hey, there's still a lot that I want to accomplish. I want to go out and achieve. And it was just a neat to hear his perspective on things. Connor and Cole Mirasola, by the way, both Mirasola twins finished with bronze medals over at the U20. So all five Penn State connected kids will medal. Again, Duke with the gold, Henkel with the silver, both Mirasolas with bronze, and then Marcus Blaze will have either silver or gold. He'll go in the gold medal match now tomorrow afternoon at 61 kilos. Won a semifinal match by Tech Fall and just looks to be the guy to beat there at that weight class on the world stage. And
so are you saying that we might actually have a pretty good team next year at Penn State?
Well,
I don't want you screwing this up now with your predictions.
Well, here's the thing. I've said this a few times, and I'll stand by it, even though, again, the last thing I'm wanting to do is put any pressure on these guys. But the pressure is going to be there whether or not I say anything or not. and these guys embrace that pressure. But I said it at the time, and I'm going to stick by it probably even more so. I'm more convinced now when you look at, again, a William Henkel, obviously Marcus Blaze, PJ Duke, but when you look at this wave of guys, both last year and this year, you go back to Luke Lillidahl, I think that the 2023 Penn State team that set the all-time NCAA scoring mark, obviously surpassed by last year's team, but 23-24 team that set the all-time scoring mark. I think over the 6-year stretch, starting with that team from the 2024 NCAA championship stretching to the 2030 NCAA championships, and again, that 2024 NCAA tournament team set the scoring mark. I think that mark, the point total in 2024, will be the lowest point total that Penn State will have in the 6-year run from 2024 through 2029. Because I'm not saying they'll set a new scoring mark each of the succeeding seasons, but I think they'll surpass that mark that was set in 2024 in each of these next years. And I think each of the next 2 years, they'll at least be in contention to, again, set a new scoring mark at the NCAA championships, which is just ridiculous. I mean, when you say that out loud, it's absurd. But I also think it's more likely than not to happen, at least in the upcoming season. And then again, when you start looking at each of the successive years, for at least the next 3 years here, there's just not a clear hole, like a weight class in the lineup where you're like, yeah, but we don't know how this thing. Now, there's some where you don't know how it's going to shake out, but you feel pretty confident no matter how it's going to shake out. You've got at least the potential for a high-placing All-American at all 10 weights. And again, that doesn't mean they'll have 10 All-Americans all of these years. It's just that I think they have guys that can clearly, legitimately contend for pretty high spots on the podium here in the NCAA championships for the foreseeable future.
Jeff,
yep.
If you were going to fall off the air right now and go off, right, and I had to talk alone for a couple minutes, I don't know what the hell I would say. I don't effing believe what I just heard. Now, you're talking about a school where we are getting gunned at by every program in the country.
Yep.
Oklahoma State, it's so close. They're so close. They're nipping at the heels of Penn State. With what you just said, they're not nipping. I mean, they're catching up.
Yeah,
right? They're improving themselves gradually, but they're not there yet, right? Is that what we're getting at? I mean, it's not. We're not bulletin board materialing the Cowboys locker room here.
Yeah. What is truly remarkable, and listen, I think Oklahoma State is going about the process of trying to build something very similar and try to replicate as best it can. Really everything about the Penn State program, including the depth top to bottom in the lineup. It's just that is a lot more difficult to do in practicality. Now, might be a little easier now with the scholarship changes and with the NIL stuff and with what's available in that regard at places like Oklahoma State and Iowa and presumably Ohio State and probably a few other programs here as well moving forward. I think Minnesota will be worth keeping an eye on here in this new college sports era in terms of wrestling as well. But yeah, I think Oklahoma State is closing the gap, but getting 10 guys in your starting lineup where all 10 are legitimately competing to, or you can see contending for national titles in their weight class is, again, that is a really difficult thing to do. And when you look at Penn State, I think they are positioned anyway to have that for, the next 3 to 5 years at the very least. And again, we'll see. It's not showing any signs of slowing down in terms of what they are recruiting, the way they're going about it. And again, they just have something. I think Oklahoma State is building something special. I don't know that it's possible to quite duplicate what Penn State has going now. There's just a lot of things that they're in it, all driven by Cale Sanderson and his coaching staff. I mean, Casey Cunningham, those three, Cody Sanderson, Cale Sanderson, and Casey Cunningham, just the way they work together, the vision they have, the understanding they have of the sport, but also of just the psychology involved. That just.
One alone, baby. Here we go. With what Ironhead just said, have you heard what he just said? He said between 2024 and the 2030 season, that the 2024 all-time record for most points scored, which we had beaten once, will be the low point of the wrestling team for the next 6 years. Not the low point. He's predicting that to be the low point. I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know what to compare this to. What do you compare this to? Russia, like Moscow Dynamo, like the CCCP hockey teams back in the day. I mean, this is unbelievable. Like what you're saying, and like I was been completely infatuated with the 10 All-American season, which was only done once by Minnesota, which was duplicated last year by Penn State. With what you're saying right now, is that might happen again and again and again.
Yes. Now, again, this is what could happen. Whether or not.
No. This is a could.
Yes. Still
Ironhead prediction. Ironhead locked prediction.
There you go. It still has to go out and be achieved to be able to sit back in awe. But I just, again, when you look at the projected lineup, however it turns out with the upcoming season, it is a team that, again, will have 10 guys that are certainly going to be you wouldn't be surprised if all 10 would be on the podium, and really you wouldn't be surprised if all 10 are in the top 6 again, the way last year's team was. And certainly the potential is there. And as we saw last year, once you get to those highest levels, and I think when you have a coaching staff now like Oklahoma State has put together, and some of the other very good coaching staffs out there, Iowa and Ohio State, again, I think Penn State fans started to get complacent that, hey, we just it's what Penn State does. When you get to the semifinals, you win. When you get to the finals, you win. And you get these it is really hard to do that. But I think what you saw last year is, hey, you have the right mentality. These guys truly are buying into, man, this is team first. And if I don't achieve my individual goal, again, it's one thing to say it. And then if you're out winning national titles all the time, it's like, well, okay, I wonder what would happen. Well, last year we saw, you don't have to wonder. These guys clearly did buy in, battled back, got third. And, we've talked about it over the years, Goon. I think getting third is, in many ways, a more impressive achievement. It's not obviously the goal. It's not what anybody wants, but I think it's a more impressive achievement because to finish third, you basically have to have the skill set to be a national champion, but have the mindset of, hey, I'm not going to let a disappointment take me off track for the weekend. And again, it's easy to say that. Oh no, I'm in this to win and achieve whatever I can. But when your ultimate goal is taken away, can you truly readjust, and hey, man, I got to go out and do what I can, both for myself. I mean, it's not insignificant to get third place individually. There is a lot of stature that comes with a third place finish, but those are really critical points in a team race. And again, without getting all of those third place finishes last year, the 5 third place finishes, Penn State doesn't end up breaking the scoring record again. So up and down that lineup, they have guys that certainly are going to be in the mix for All-America honors. I think probably in at least 7 weight classes, they have guys that could contend for national titles, individual titles. And again, if all of that plays out, similar to how it did last year, and maybe even better in the semifinals and finals results, certainly it is within reach that a scoring record for Penn State at the NCAA tournament could be achieved for a 3rd consecutive season. But regardless of any of that, again, a great showing over in Bulgaria. The 5 Penn State kids will all medal, 1 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze, and 1 more that'll either be a gold or a silver, with Marcus Blaze going tomorrow afternoon. Yes, dear Goon.
Does USA Wrestling pay for this? Is there anything to push back on the athletes?
What do you mean?
Do they have to pay their own way?
No.
Being a high school kid, is it considered?
No, USA
Wrestling, right? So they're part of USA Wrestling. They went through the competitions and they competed and won the USA and they won the gold, so then they can go on to the next level.
Correct. All right, we're going to take a break here and be back with a final segment. Part of the fun at home will be, how many times will Ironhead disappear from the screen in the final half hour? Stay tuned and find out as we continue. It is our Tuesday edition, coming to you from Quaker Steak and Lube, where the all-you-can-eat wing buffet will get underway here at 4 o'clock.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Your first half champion State College Spikes host the 2025 MLB Draft League Championship game at Medler Field at Lebrano Park, Thursday, September 4th. Get your tickets now for just $10 a piece. Enjoy Dollar Dog Night with $1 hot dogs and Thirsty Thursday with $2 12-ounce drafts while supplies last. And the Spikes offer free admission to all students in partnership with Penn State Spa, the Student Programming Association. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox. State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And back here, at least for the time being, on this Tuesday afternoon. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. Well, we're having technical issues at the station as well, so apparently we're not on Fox Sports Radio here this afternoon either. Kind of the way this week is going. Doing a couple of other things I do want to just touch on. Obviously, Eagles and Steelers, very different expectations as we head toward the start of the NFL season as well. I am really, Joe Flacco being named the starting quarterback for the Browns, not unexpected. I think the Browns will have at least 3 starting quarterbacks over the course of this upcoming season.
That'll be 44 for the 25 years. That's pretty good. Can we get to 45 for the 25-year anniversary?
That would not surprise. It would not surprise me.
Well, they have 8 on their roster. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, and it's why I do feel. Well, I don't feel great about the Steelers' chances of advancing far in the playoffs or of winning the division. I do think they've got a good shot at the playoffs, and a good shot of finishing second or third in the division. Bengals are going to be an interesting team to watch this year, Goon, but I think the Browns are still the Browns, and at the end of the day, they can't get out of their own way.
Well, you're frozen on the phone, but I can hear you on the computer screen.
I'll probably be going away.
I watched that Bengals game last night, and first of all, if they beat the Steelers are idiots because the Bengals might be the dumbest organization in the history of sports. What in the hell are they doing having a $200 million quarterback playing into the second quarter in a preseason game? That means absolutely nothing. First of all, after taking one hit, I'd have gotten him the hell out of there. And then he got dog-piled down by 4 guys the one time, and you're like, come on, man, what are you thinking here? I mean, I know he's a competitor. He wants to play. He wants to get sharp. He wants to do this, do that, but you got to be smart. Sorry, I had to say it.
Yeah. No, I
mean, what if he got hurt last night? What if he got hurt? Oh, this is why you don't play preseason games. No, this is why you don't play your quarterback in the second quarter of a preseason game.
Yes, I agree with you completely. And again, kind of the mentality on that has changed a bit over the years. But just like we were talking about with the college game now, like you as a franchise have to recognize where your investment is. And, again, I get that there's a risk and we get players that have been injured, taking a shower, driving a car to practice, standing around in practice. I mean, I get it. So there's no foolproof, but it's kind of, the risk management. And again, you have a long season coming up, even if you, like, you're grateful Burrow didn't get hurt last night. I mean, I think anybody who's just a fan of football, you want to see the best guys out there. But, like, part of me does wonder, again, I think the human body is only made for so much punishment. Why are you giving your quarterback unnecessary punishment in the preseason? Again, you can argue with certain guys, maybe, hey, we need to get out there for a series or two, give them a little bit of a feel, whatever. But I'm with you. All right, do that with the idea that, all right, if something, though, happens in that first series and we see protection may be an issue in this preseason game, then alter those plans and, hey, let's go back and try to get a little extra work in practice or whatever. Risk management.
You do that live at your practice, but your teammates are not going to drop you.
Yes.
They'll get to you and they'll put their hand on you, and the coaches will get pissed off at the offensive lineman and yell and scream and this and that. But guess what? You're not doing. You're not hurting the golden calf.
Yeah.
And like we said last week, they're playing. They have camps now where the Eagles and the Browns they had practice for 4 days last week, and then they had a game. They got a lot of live work in during that week, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a football player or you're a wrestler and it's like, oh, it's just a scrimmage and you're going against your own team, okay, but still, you're still going a million miles an hour because you want to make the damn team. And now you're putting another team in front of me, another player that I've never played against that I had to beat up, and I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to go 3/4 speed because it's only a fudge scrimmage. Bull crap, man. You're going to fight as hard as you possibly can on that play because you're trying to make that freaking football team. So they have the time where Joe Burrows wants to work against live speed. That's fine. You're not working against live hitting. And that's what the Redskins were teeing off on him last night, which is just baffling. Baffling. I mean, if I was a Bengals fan, I would be – I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody that, first of all, but but secondly, I'd be embarrassed by it. I'd be like, this is like Cleveland's and Cincinnati might be the two worst organizations in the league. And they're from the same freaking state. Which is a football-dominated state. How are they the worst? Like, they are horribly, horribly, horribly run.
It just does not seem like a great deal of forethought goes into the planning within the front offices of either organization, and hopefully the Steelers will continue to benefit from that. Is the one thing you're holding out hope for. But
I mean, Baltimore makes some pretty dumb decisions eventually, but I mean, the Steelers have dominated the division because they're playing with dummies.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, we're going to hopefully take full advantage of it while we still can, if we still can.
So probably. I know I'm going to be away next week. So and I know the NFL starts in 2 weeks, but I mean, you've watched Aaron Rodgers now. What are you feeling for this season? Do you feel if you're going to see Green Bay Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think physically he has that in him.
No.
But I think he's going to be better than New York Jets Aaron Rodgers.
I think so. I think yes. What is there's just so many unknowns, Goon, in terms of I really genuinely worry about his physical health and how long he is going to be able to hold up, in part because I'm not overly confident that the Steelers offensive line is going to be able to give him the type of protection that he now needs. He's obviously not as mobile as he once was. And that mobility would come in very handy with this team this year. And so I do think he is more, I think he has adapted his game as he has needed to. I just don't know that it's a game that the Steelers fit in well with at this point of their offensive development. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like every day you read something different on where Rodgers and the receivers, and in particular DK Metcalf, are in terms of their feel for one another. It's one of those things, Goon, that I don't think you're really going to know even until you get into these games and start to see, all right, against a live defense, this is what Rodgers is seeing. Metcalf is seeing the same thing. It's one thing to be on the same page in practice, and it's like, all right, yep, when we kind of know what we're getting coverage-wise, and I'm airing it out, and I know Metcalf's speed. Well, that's great, and that's one step in the development, but are you going to be on the same page in reading the defense? And I know they're both veterans. I mean, I get it as far as it goes. It's just, is the timing actually going to be there in the critical moments and the critical games? And there's just no way you're going to know that until you get into the critical moments and the critical games. And so it's all guesswork. I've been saying all along, Good. I mean, I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I think, given the quarterback situation that the Steelers were in, getting Rodgers signed was good. I think it puts them in a better spot than they would have been if it was just Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson that you're heading into the season with. But I think without him, the Steelers were looking at probably like a 7-10, 8-9 type of season. Now they're back to their standard 9-8, maybe 10-7 season. And, maybe a playoff win, maybe, which would be cool. That would be nice to get one of those under your belt. But again, do I think that the Steelers is currently constructed with Aaron Rodgers, a healthy Aaron Rodgers? Let's put that into the mix. That all right, he's healthy and raring to go in the postseason. I don't see this team beating the likes of the Ravens or the Chiefs, or possibly this year even the Chargers and the Bills are still. I'm curious to see how this season unfolds for the Bills as well. But I just don't think they're one of the top, let's say, 4 teams. Even if everything goes well and they stay relatively healthy, I just don't see them as being one of the top 4 teams in the AFC. So that, again, does it allow them to maybe tread water for a year? At the end of the day, I'm okay with that as far as it goes. You still got to find your franchise quarterback. And, with Will Howard's setback, we're further away from finding out whether he is potentially that long-term answer or not. And you've got to figure that out, because if he's not, again, you've got to address that pretty much immediately. Like, you've got to go into next year's draft. By the way, I am watching, and I know it's preseason. I'm not getting carried away, but man, Jackson Dart looks good to me, Goon. I know I watched a little bit of the preseason game with the Giants and the Jets, and I get it. It's the Jets. It's preseason. I understand all of it. I'm just telling you, I think Jackson Dart I think his game is going to translate well to the NFL. I really do. And I still think he would have looked great in a Steelers uniform.
He's such a little prissy quarterback out there with his little, he has this whole little routine out there where he's like this Southern quarterback. He thinks he's freaking Joe Namath. And he's in New York, so you know they're going to blow him up to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
He's going to get a huge head like mine, and it's going to blow up, and he's going to fade into oblivion within a year or two, just like Tommy Cutlets.
We'll see.
I don't see the Jackson Dart thing happening, but that's on you. So
yeah,
my thing about Aaron Rodgers is, all right. So he did the first year with the Jets. He did 4 plays, and then the Achilles.
Yeah.
And then he did 1 more year with them, and this is now the second year. Now I think I've told you this before, but it's widely considered a 2-year injury with that Achilles. Now, granted, it happened very early in his year, the first year, but he was very good towards the end of the season last year with the Jets, where he might be that guy for the Steelers. Hopefully for you, he could be that guy for the Steelers out there. I mean, he's not going to be MVP Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. We know that, but the man still has a mind and an arm, which is unbelievable. Oh, it's just the Goon again. Just giving my 2 cents on Mr. Aaron Rodgers here. So Aaron Rodgers, I think that, like I said, it's a 2-year injury. He's coming back from the Achilles. It's almost going to be 2 years to the day of him getting injured. It's about week 8, week 9, where he started picking up last year a whole bunch, in my opinion. I don't know how much the Jets were playing for at the end of the year last year, but if the Steelers could get even 3/4 or of what Aaron Rodgers was with the Green Bay Packers, with the mind that he had and the arm that he had and his thought process and stuff like that, it's amazing. But with like I said, with the Achilles, hopefully he could do well. If he's 3/4, 7/8 of the guy he was with the Green Bay, you got a winner. But with that said, the man don't like getting hit. He never has liked getting hit ever.
No,
not like any quarterback does. But it just seems to me he gets really, really pissed off when he gets hit, almost Brady-like. And if you watch, it's so weird talking about Brady, but it just seems like Tom Brady lost like 20 games his whole career. And every game he lost is because there was quarterback pressure on him where he was being forced to throw because he was getting hit and not making the throws. Where you get a guy like Aaron Rodgers time with the arm that he has and the mind that he has, he will pick anybody apart. Anybody. Now, have the Steelers done enough on the offensive line to upgrade and protect him from that?
Yeah, I think they've got to try to establish the quick hitting passing game, which with the tight end room they have and with the receivers they have, like that can be very effective, and hopefully that kind of acts like the run game, and hopefully the running game is better here as well. But if they can get that established, and again, he doesn't need to take a ton of down the field shots, but if they can get the short game, get him to where he is in a rhythm, he feels good about where he's at. You can take a few shots here, and I think he still has the arm, to get the ball downfield. And if you can hit, a couple of those every game, well, then you're in business. I still think it's a big if with that offensive line, and I'm still not overly confident that the play calling will be what I think it should be, given the parameters of this offense. Again, I would be really, really working the tight ends very, very consistently. And I think Aaron Rodgers I think that's going to be his comfort level in the upcoming season as well. So we'll see. But again, I think best case scenario is that they get a win in the playoffs. Maybe ultimate best case scenario, they get a couple of wins. The idea of the Steelers getting to the Super Bowl just does not seem realistic in the upcoming season. And, presuming this is the Rodgers last season, the issue is going to be, and the Steelers are certainly not alone. It's a lot easier said than done finding the franchise quarterback, the guy that can be a top 10 NFL quarterback. There's only, by my count, 10 of those in the entire planet. So I'm not even. It's not like a huge criticism of the Steelers that they haven't found it, but without that, it's just that's the way this league is. You're not going to be consistently among the big boys, and I still think that's where the Steelers are, is searching for the next Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and they have been. That's their Achilles heel every time they're not good. You know, how long did they try to replace Terry Bradshaw?
Well, and it's the same. Yeah, and it's the same with most organizations. It's like, well,
now Packers.
Go get your
Packers struck gold twice.
Franchise quarterback.
Yeah, you don't have an Aaron. You don't have a Brett Favre followed by Aaron Rodgers often. There was a lot of hubbub going into that, and a lot of unpopularity with that. But I'm just trying to think in my head, has there been a hand, like, I guess that, Joe Montana to Steve or Walsh to Steve Walsh, right? No, not Steve Walsh, Steve Young. Steve Young, that was a pretty good hand-me-down. What I'm trying to think is there have been like Bledsoe to Tom Brady's a pretty good one too. I think Tom Brady turned out pretty damn good, but you normally don't find it. I mean, most organizations takes a draft 2 or 3 and a couple frogs kissing a couple frogs before you find your prince.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, it's really hard to find the guy that'll be and
it pains me to say,
elite quarterback.
It hurts me to say, but it is such a quarterback-driven league that if you don't have a quarterback, you're done. You got nothing. You're not going anywhere. It's that's the way. It's just the way it is. And I mean, you complain about how you can't hit the quarterback anymore, and this and that. It's because these guys are not growing on trees. They're not just going out and finding another guy that they can just plop in there and run their whole offense the way they practiced it since July 25th. You know what I mean? So you get these starting guys hurt, and you get these marquee guys getting hurt. It screws you, screws your team, which entails screws the league, which they don't. I mean, I'm not going to watch a game with a third-team quarterback, who can barely even throw the ball. So they're going to protect these guys. And, I'm an offensive lineman, so I'm going to kid around by saying that they're the pretty boys and the prima donnas, which they are, but there's a reason they are. There's no doubt. I mean, you got to protect those guys, because if you get one, you sure as hell are not going to want to lose it, which is how crazy and insane the Joe Burrow thing to me was last night. Why would you even risk it? Why?
It truly makes no sense. Real quick, Goon, before we wrap things up here, how about Scotty Scheffler in the year he's having and the BMW Championship? Did you see that? The
unbelievable.
That's just ridiculous. To chip in for the win. I mean, it's ridiculous that
wasn't a tiger
right
chip
now.
from 9 feet away. I mean, he chipped red and just ran. It was unbelievable. It was like one of those things that was slow motion. It was like, no, it can't. No way. Oh my God, he just hit that.
Yeah, I just absolutely incredible. One of those that it's like that couldn't really. I mean, that truly is the type of stuff that if you're a kiddo out on the golf course, right, you're dreaming about it. Man, could you imagine if the only thing that would make it better is if it was a major event. But I mean, being in a tournament, and it's like, I'm going to chip in to win the whole thing, and that's what he did.
Well, how many times did you hit a home run in the bottom of the 9th inning in the World Series when you were a little kid?
Pretty remarkable.
The problem is,
probably
Joe Carter screwed my head up and screwed my childhood up in 1993. I'm looking for you, Joe Carter.
Yes, indeed. Oh man. Yeah, still remember that well. I was actually watching it with a couple of Phillies friends, and
I actually have a great story about that.
Yeah,
my friend tells me that I had everybody kicked out of my apartment before the ball actually even landed. They were all cheering against the Philly guys. So
that.
the ball went left the bat, and I said, "Get out, everybody!" And everybody was running over me because I may have cried. I may have cried in anger.
Yep. Joe Carter
ruined a lot of Western PA kids' hearts, and Joe Carter did the same. Eastern PA.
You got that right. In the East. Yep.
See you Thursday.
That is going to wrap things up for today's show. Yes, we're going to try again Thursday to see if we can get everything resolved. Until then, be good and be safe. And again, we will be back on Thursday.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Your first half champion State College Spikes host the 2025 MLB Draft League Championship game at Medler Field at Lebrano Park Thursday, September 4th. Get your tickets now for just $10 a piece. Enjoy Dollar Dog Night with $1 hot dogs and Thirsty Thursday with $2 12-ounce drafts while supplies last. And the Spikes offer free admission to all students in partnership with Penn State Spa, the Student Programming Association. For tickets, call 814-272-1711 or buy and download at statecollegespikes.com.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College, the Goon